It's that time once again for what has really become an annual tradition here on the channel, and also one of my personal favorite segments. Every year it seems I get nervous about not having enough subject material for the feature, but my never-ending commitment to personal improvement ensures that this fails to ever become an issue. Thankfully, this year is upgrade season and I've got a brand new set of used gear to share, as well as a slightly different format for these videos going forward. Without any further introduction, here's the all-new 2017 edition, Politically Incorrect Desk Tour.
I'll pick this up and check this out.
While much of the equipment sitting atop it is new, this desk, introduced last year to replace my aging and inadequately small brown work surface, remains as the foundation for my setup and continues to serve it well. For $10, it was one of the best deals of 2016 and is still impressively stable and the perfect size for all my gear. The shelving system and lifetime folding chair remain unchanged as well, so I'm going to just skip past them in the interest of time. If you've already seen my comprehensive video review of this machine, you know that this computer needs no introduction. It's the Dell Precision M6400, and it's been my dream 17-inch laptop for quite a long time now. Originally, it was just on the proverbial computer bucket list, but after having tried one out in person, I knew that it would only be a matter of time until it could tear me off of Windows 10 and into the land of 17-inch screen epicness. This beastly system sports a 3 GHz T9900 Core 2 Duo processor, NVIDIA Quadro FX 3700 video with 1 GB of video memory, dual hard drives, and 12 GB of RAM. A substantial upgrade over the already adequate ThinkPad T61P that occupied this position before. And it wouldn't be a party without the docking station, so here's Dell's take on the laptop dock. This one isn't quite as covert or streamlined as the 2504 advanced mini dock that I had previously used with the ThinkPad, but it does have most all of the modern and legacy connectivity that I need it for, including pretty much the same set of ports laid out only slightly differently. Everything else back here is the same, but gone is the digital to analog adapter, because the speakers are now hooked directly into the system. The computer still has digital audio output, it just puts it out through the DisplayPort connector instead of a SPDIF jack. As was mentioned in the review, the laptop has an impressive 17-inch Samsung WUXGA LCD panel, but it's not alone on the desk surface. To its right is the venerable 22-inch Dell E228WFP 1680 by 1050 LCD monitor, still occupying the position of primary display. And to its right, replacing the HP W1907 19-incher, we have a Dell E196FP 19-inch LCD monitor. It sports a resolution of 1280 by 1024, which gives it a slight advantage over the HP, both in terms of overall screen area and resolution, all while taking up less space on the table and lining up with the main screen a bit better. The wooden blocks formerly seen here have changed roles and now serve to support the leftmost speaker. Together, this tidal wave of video offers an astonishing 48:11 aspect ratio and over 5.3 megapixels of total resolution. And I continue to stand by my controversial assertion in the original Politically Incorrect Desk Tour that aspect ratios should be punctuated by the word to and not the word by. I can't tell you how annoying it is to hear about 16:9 aspect ratios when nobody would use the word by to describe a ratio in any other context. You tell me which one makes more sense, that brown houses outnumber yellow houses by 7-to-1 or 7-by-1. So then why would we treat the aspect ratio of a monitor any differently? That's contextual discrimination, but I digress. Sound is still provided by the same LabTech LCS 2414 2.1 speaker set, but is now supplemented by one of the few things you'll see today that was actually purchased brand new, and that is the world-famous Monoprice 8323 headphones. I picked these up in summer of 2016, but didn't bother to review them because there's really nothing I could say that hasn't been addressed already. I'll summarize it here anyway, though. They're inexpensive headphones that can be had for less than $20 on sale and have the same sound quality that one might expect from $100 headphones. They come with not one, but two detachable sound cables, one short, one long, and I can't think of any major drawbacks of the product, at least for the short term. My neon yellow Sony Peak earbuds kind of fizzled out, so I've actually gone back to using the venerable Onda EP50 buds, which are still some of the best earbuds that I've ever used, and they've lasted for nearly a decade now, more than outliving the media player that they were originally bundled with. And that's not all. This set also has a magical cord that somehow almost never tangles, and a little clip for maximum mobility during use. That's the kind of mileage that I hope to be able to get out of the monoprice headphones. Elsewhere on the desk, I've replaced that uncomfortable Dell job with this IBM branded USB mouse. It was probably just the pack-in with some cheap potatoes desktop computer back in the day, but it feels really nice with just the right amount of resistance on the buttons and a fantastic scroll wheel to boot, so I'm pretty happy with it. The keyboard is the same beige NMB unit that was covered by this segment in the past. And as always, external storage, miscellaneous rechargeable batteries, SIM eject tools, i7 processors, and other odds and ends pepper the landscape of this desk in the space beneath the monitors. With the Dell Precision M6400 being a somewhat less portable computer than its predecessor, I've decided to create a better distinction here among the ranks and properly optimize the ThinkPad X200 tablet back to excellent working order for those times when it just doesn't pay or simply isn't possible to lug around a 17-inch laptop. That process was documented extensively in a vlog from last year, so I won't go into too much detail on it here other than to say that I've owned this laptop since 2014, and even though its specs don't sound that impressive, it's a solid little machine and does well to accomplish everything that I need it to do. I did actually consider replacing it last summer, but ultimately never did, however, because I've been experimenting with supplementing it by way of one of these featherweight class netbook style machines. I originally tried out a ThinkPad Tablet 2, but eventually settled on the Surface 3, which, while not perfect by any means, is a remarkably powerful, compact, and passively cooled machine with long battery life to boot. This thing will get a proper review later on, but all you need to know about it for right now is that if it wasn't for the lack of storage and its awful trackpad, the Surface would actually give the X200 a serious run for its money, in terms of performance and screen quality at least. I've never included a mobile device on the politically incorrect desk tour before, but I got to thinking, because it is an important part of my overall productivity platform, that this might actually be a great segment in which to talk about it. The Moto X Pure Edition, which you may have already seen this channel's review of, is my first new primary handheld to be introduced to the fleet since the inauguration of the Galaxy Note 2 over 3 years ago. This arrival also reflects my newfound focus on stability and ease of use. The device looks pretty typical, and the software is as bland and unskinned as Android gets, but everything just works remarkably well, despite some of the questionable choices that went into the design of this phone's architecture, which I touched on more during the review videos. My goal for mobility in the future is to keep phones even longer, and that may sound crazy in a market that's still exploding with new devices, but it really has climaxed, and not unlike what we saw with computers almost 10 years ago, when we got to the point where you didn't need a new model every cycle in order to keep up with software demand. It's with that mentality going forward that I hope to get at least 3 years out of both this phone and the laptop. Upgrading is just such a costly time waster that I've personally pledged to simply try and do less of it. It's my hope that at this time next year you'll be seeing the same basic setup on this desk with most of the same components, just tuned and refined to make it even better. And be sure to stay tuned for additional coverage of much of the equipment mentioned here in this video for an even deeper analysis. But this is all I've got time to cover today, so with that, this is Browningate signing off. Thanks for watching.